Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. These are the 5 stages of grief, and in the last 24 hours, it looks like the Animal Crossing community went through multiple of them already. All day, I've been seeing so many comments, tweets, posts, YouTube videos of people saying that Animal Crossing is dead because we didn't get a brand new update at Nintendo's E3 Direct. And you know, the criticism is valid, everyone is allowed their own opinion, and I understand why some people are upset. Everyone was hyped like a peppy villager going to a Beyonce concert, or like a cranky villager drinking coffee and telling villagers to get off their lawns, okay? Everyone was happy, excited, and then the Direct happened and there was nothing for Animal Crossing. But because there's no update, is the game dead now? Should you finally close your game for the last time and say your last goodbyes to your villagers? Should you destroy your island? I already turned my island into a desert and destroyed everything once. I can't afford to do that again. Or should you still be preparing your island for Brewster and the rest of the missing Animal Crossing NPC family? Should you be preparing your island for the next big update? I'll be answering that question in this video and hopefully give you some peace of mind by the end of it. Let's rewind to before the Nintendo Direct. Nintendo said we would have a 40-minute Direct going over games in 2021, and of course that includes DLC. Everyone and their favorite Animal Crossing villagers were so hyped for weeks because everyone assumed that this meant we'd finally get the big update we've all been waiting for. A big new Animal Crossing update. I was one of those people. I thought for sure we'd get a big new update because we haven't gotten a solid update this entire year except the Mario update, which was more a bunch of items rather than a big event or game-changing mechanics. Then the Direct came around and almost every person had predicted we'd see the DLC there, and it wasn't there. And it's not because it's DLC that it wasn't there. There were other games that were shown that had DLC shown in this Direct, like Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. So if they really wanted to show it, it would have been there. And the hope for new updates didn't come out of thin air, it came from thick air. The developers said we would be getting updates in 2021, and even the president of Nintendo America, Mr. Doug Bowser himself, came out to say that there would be updates in 2021, just like there were in 2020. The interviewer asked Doug, "Hey Doug, at this point you're releasing like once a quarter a pretty significant update. Do you see that continuing beyond the first year?" And you know what? Doug said yes, he did. There's an update schedule that comes from the developers around the seasons, around the events, around enhanced gameplay features, and that will continue as we go forward. He asked the president at the end, "Do you see updates that we've been seeing the first year continuing into the second year?" And he said, "We definitely see that continuing." Which is why I think a lot of people are upset because we're now halfway through the year and all we've had is Mario. And no shade to Mario, but that's the only update we've gotten. So what's my opinion on this? In my opinion, and don't attack me or throw tomatoes at me like I'm Squidward at the Krusty Krab, hear me out. While people are very upset, I'm still optimistic. I look at this confirmation from, last year as what it is. He said updates would be coming in 2021. And guess what? There are still 6 months left in 2021. The year is far from over, and I know it hurts because we're so hyped, and if a new update were to be announced, it would have been the perfect timing to show it at E3, so I understand why you're disappointed, but be patient. I was unsure Animal Crossing was even coming to a Nintendo home console after the Amiibo Festival game and years of no other games, but they came through with New Horizons, and for me it was definitely worth the wait. So I say all this to say, the dream isn't over. Animal Crossing New Horizons is not dead. There is still hope for new updates, and there's many reasons why they'll come. So I'm going to try to calm you down, and I'm going to tell you why you can still be excited for Animal Crossing if you just give developers a little bit of patience and see how this thing goes. If 2021 is over in 6 months and there's still new updates, then I'll be upset too. But I still have major hopes and optimism for New Horizons in 2021, and here's why. Number 1, there has been major data mine leaks this past year, which you've been told by many different outlets, people in the community, and the data miners themselves. But I'll spit out the facts real quick. Back in the summer of 2020, about a year ago, data miners found leaks of diving, dreaming, pumpkins, and all the underwater fish. Then the next season in the fall, and then in the summer too, a lot of these things were added to the game. Those were not the only things that the data miners have found. They found expansions to the museum, which could imply Brewster's Cafe coming to the museum. They found vegetables, cooking, and other fun additions to the game. Just like diving, dreaming, and pumpkins, my prediction is they'll be added to the game too. Maybe they just aren't ready yet, or maybe it's not a good time. I mean, I think Brewster fits perfectly for a fall update. Get some pumpkin spice lattes for your villagers, and they'll be lining up like it's a Starbucks. You'll be wishing Brewster never came. All they'll be able to talk about is Brewster this, coffee that. All right, so maybe just wait a little bit. A lot of these updates were found in data mine and eventually came, so hopefully the rest will too. Number 2, confirmations after confirmations. Like I said earlier in this video, the developers, heads of Nintendo have all confirmed that Animal Crossing will get continuous updates. You just have to let it ride out, okay? I feel like I'm someone's mom calming down their family after a family fight. Everything is okay, folks. Just wait it out. If nothing comes after New Horizons cycle is over, then you can be upset. But the cycle is far from over, and the cycle in particular has been very weird. Which leads me to say, number 3, COVID delays. If you look at how bare 2021 is in the video game industry, you can see so many games were clearly meant for 2021, and now most of them are now in 2022. It's not just Nintendo. When you look at everyone else's E3 presentations this year, it was the same thing. Barely anything is coming this year. The E3 overall was not that great. Nintendo was arguably the winner, if not top 2. And Microsoft, who had a good presentation, in my opinion, they had most of their games revealed for 2022 and even one for 2023. So COVID really hurt the gaming industry. So many of the new games that were scheduled for this year got pushed back to next year. So I think it's a little unfair that some people are picking and choosing which companies to be upset with and others to be okay with in regards to COVID delays. Like I said, let the process ride. I think by 2022 things will be back to normal and fully in the swing of things. And honestly, the fan side of me was extremely happy with this E3. I mean, Super Monkey Ball HD, Metroid Dread, Advance Wars, WarioWare, these games are all amazing franchises you should definitely give a chance to. So if you're an Animal Crossing fan, just sit tight and enjoy all these other amazing games while the updates will eventually roll out for New Horizons. Number 4, the game is still selling like wild. In the UK this past week, it was the 4th best-selling game of the week. It's been a year and 3 months and it's still killing it. It's one of the best-selling games of this year, let alone last year, and a highlight in Nintendo's catalog. I say that to say there are so many players playing the game still and still buying the game, which gives Nintendo even more reason to pump out new updates in the near and far future. They're not just going to forget about this game. They are very aware of how big New Horizons is, and they won't just forget about it, okay? And number 5, a lot of people like to compare New Horizons to New Leaf. Some like New Horizons better, some like New Leaf better. Both are fair opinions. But if you compare the situation we have now to New Leaf, you see that New Leaf had some of its biggest updates years after it was released. One of its biggest updates, Animal Crossing Welcome Amiibo, added amiibo functionality to the game, it added quality of life updates, and even new items. That came out over 3 years after it came out. So I'm saying all this to say, I'm seeing a lot of people throwing their hands in the air and throwing their cartridges in the garbage, saying that Animal Crossing New Horizons is dead and their year is ruined because of it. I'm not trying to convince you or try to persuade you. Your feelings are valid. I'm just telling you that in my opinion, Animal Crossing New Horizons is far from dead, and assuming that it is dead, I think is extremely premature and goes against everything we've known from past Animal Crossing games to the confirmation from the people in charge of these games to the leakers who are still finding things that we haven't gotten yet. There must still be things to look forward to, and I think we could get a brand new update literally any week now. At the latest, I think fall. So who knows? They've done Animal Crossing presentations and even Animal Crossing Directs before. We could see the return of Animal Crossing Directs and see a new Direct, and we'll all be sitting there going, wow, this is amazing. You never know what's going to happen until you see it. But until then, I know I have hundreds of fun ideas and wild creations that I'm wanting to do on my island. I have a bucket list I'm going to share with you for this summer. And I'm going to make this summer a summer of fun Animal Crossing event. A summer of new creations, new ideas, competitions, pushing the game to its limit. So if you think Animal Crossing is getting boring, I'm going to do my best to make it exciting again for you this summer with really cool ideas that I got up my sleeve. So yes, I know a lot of you are disappointed, but please just be patient. That's how I'm trying to be. Just patient. I rely on Animal Crossing for updates for new videos and stuff, and even I'm okay. I'm okay. You're okay. We're gonna get new updates in the future. It's not dead, okay? It's not dead, at least in my opinion. So I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. And don't forget to put your bell notification on, because tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am kicking off one of my Animal Crossing villagers live on stream. I'll see you then. Goodbye.